Hello everyone, my name is Suman Dua and I'm a registered migration agent at Nationwide Migration and Education. We make new videos every week in regards to Australian migration, and if you are interested in this topic, you may wish to subscribe to our channel. In this video today, we will be talking about Western Australia's updated criteria for 190 and 491 visa. In the recent updates, the Western Australia government has made changes to its migration program to support skilled workers looking to migrate to Western Australia, including increasing occupations eligible for skilled migration in Western Australia by around 60%. New occupations have been added to the Western Australia's Skilled Migration Occupation List, Schedule 1, also known as WASMOL, and the Western Australia's Skilled Migration Occupation List, Schedule 2. The Western Australia government has also waived the $200 application fee and has made changes to the requirements for new applications as of 1st July 2022. So these changes are removal of the requirement to demonstrate sufficient funds for Western Australia's state nomination, reduction in the English requirements for applicants at the manager and professional occupation level to the competent level of English. There have also been changes to the document requirements for the VOUCHER Schedule 1 and 2 and the graduate occupation lists based on the visa the applicant is being nominated for. Before we look at the nomination criteria for Western Australia, you will first need to meet the criteria set by the Department of Home Affairs. Now, Home Affairs criteria requires you to have a points test result of 65 or higher, inclusive of state nomination points, have a positive skills assessment in your nominated occupation, be under 45 years of age, meet the minimum English language requirement of competent unless a higher level is required by your assessing authority. Western Australia will be prioritizing the expression of candidates from candidates who are residing in Western Australia. So these candidates will be given first priority. Candidates residing in the rest of Australia will be given second priority, and candidates residing outside of Australia will be given third priority. Now, Western Australia has two streams, the general stream and the graduate stream. Now, the general stream has further two occupation lists, and each occupation list has a different nomination criteria. So there is General Stream Western Australia Skilled Migration Occupation List Schedule 1, and then there is also Schedule 2. To be considered for an invitation to apply for the state nomination General Stream Schedule 1, candidates must have an occupation listed as available and eligible for the intended visa subclass on the VOUCHER Schedule 1, be able to claim and give evidence of work experience in the expression of interest. Now, this requirement can be met through at least 1 year of Australian work experience in the nominated or closely related occupation over the last 10 years, or at least 1 year of overseas work experience in the nominated or closely related occupation over the last 10 years. Now, for 190 visa nomination, applicant must have a contract of employment for full-time employment for at least 6 months in the nominated or closely related occupation in Western Australia. For a 491 visa nomination, as long as the applicant meets the work experience requirement, an employment contract is not required. Now, to be considered for an invitation to apply for the state nomination general stream under Schedule 2 occupation list, candidates must have an occupation listed as available and eligible for the intended visa subclass on the VOUCHER Schedule 2. For a 190 visa nomination, applicant must have a contract of employment for full-time employment for at least 6 months in the nominated or closely related occupation in Western Australia. For a 491 visa nomination, as long as the occupation is available under Schedule 2 occupation list, work experience or an employment contract is not required. Now let's look at the Western Australia's state nomination minimum requirements for the graduate stream. Now, to be considered for an invitation to apply for the state nomination graduate stream, candidates must have an occupation listed as available and eligible for the intended visa subclass on the graduate occupation list, GOL. Must have gained a Certificate 3 or higher qualification in Western Australia, including a requirement to have completed at least 2 years of full-time study in Western Australia at a Western Australian university, higher education provider, TAFE, registered training provider, or English language provider. For the graduates, an employment contract or work experience is no longer a requirement for both visa subclasses 190 or 491. If you are someone who is living in Western Australia or is living interstate or offshore, can now apply for the expression of interest with Western Australia as long as you meet the minimum eligibility requirements. If you are someone who is considering applying for Western Australia's state nomination, please book a consultation through the link in the description below. Stay updated about Australia's immigration. Make sure that you subscribe to our channel.